Hello everyone, Namaste. My name is Abhishek, and today we have again with us Speak and See, a very famous vlogger from all the way from America. So, Speak and See, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I've been recently watching some of your reaction videos, and you made a good amount of comments on the war of perception between India and Pakistan. So, who do you think has won the war between India, whatever limited armed conflict we had between India and Pakistan? What's your perception? Because Pakistan is claiming victory.
Yeah, it's funny how they're doing that. It, it's interesting how the media is actually portraying it because what we've seen now on the Western media is anytime a general comes out or somebody that is fluent in war in America, we like General Spider had just come out on CNN a few days ago, and he had said straight up, India, they took the advantage on the war. There was really nothing Pakistan could do, and they're outnumbered, they're outmanned, they're out weaponed, they're out they're just getting crushed. Pakistan was just getting crushed. And shortly, right after that thing on CNN comes back out, and just the host is explaining how Pakistan has held their ground and did their, in one not one but is claiming victory. And she didn't really mention that really Pakistan just got destroyed. And when you look at it, I mean, we look at the big picture here, and when most of Americans see the Pakistan celebrating in the streets, we're so exhausted, exhausted by it because we've seen this before. It plays over time and time again. And in this one, there was just there's no way, shape, or form that they have the right. Well, I mean, everybody has the right to celebrate a loss such as they incurred. They incurred a 20% infrastructure damage to their Air Force bases. That's whoa, stop the brakes, India, please. No more, no mas, no mas. And we're looking at when we look at the GDP and what they had to come out and do was they had to come and rely on a loan just basically to fix some of their infrastructure. But when we even look at that portion where Pakistan is going to try to claim victory because they've got, they got the money that they wanted from the IMF. But when you look at the IMF and the GDP, and this is another place where India is just destroying them. And this is even bigger than what anybody, I don't know if anybody's ever announced it, but the GDP of Pakistan is what, 340 billion?
Yeah.
And I think their loan percentage on that, they've taken out like 6.2 billion on that. So they're extended. They're scraping the bottom of the barrel for money. In India, their GDP is 3.5 trillion, and their loans that they have out are 21 billion. So India is literally feasting at a all you can eat buffet right now. Pakistan is scraping the bottom of the barrel every way, shape, or form. And how these people are celebrating, just first of all, because they got their tails whipped, literally, militarily, financially, over the spread of the world, the way that they're being viewed right now by the world, not in Pakistan, apparently, because they're showing a different TV show. I mean, they're watching Sesame Street or something. I don't know. But the way the world is seeing this is like when they see the celebrations coming from Pakistan, they're like, what is going on here? When is it? And without the truth, I mean, you're not going to go very far. If they would just, fess up and say, okay, we got our tails kicked. We need to soul search. They need to do some soul searching of what is really going on here. And India is being very kind right now by laying off the brakes. And I take my hat off to India for being such good sports to Pakistan right now.
How do you see the role of Prime Minister Modi in managing this armed conflict or this operation that he conducted on Pakistan? Because he said that Operation Sindoor is merely paused; it's not over.
Yeah.
So, how do you see his role, and what is the significance of merely pausing the Operation Sindoor and not calling it off?
I understand what he's doing. I think it's what we're seeing him move. We've seen Modi. I mean, most leaders talk about this flossy, Nazi, and nihilopilification, and they scramble to poorly, written scripts and stuff like that, so that the rate of their intern advisors can get the notes and make good speeches. But Modi has literally administered results to every action that he's put forward, and he's not doing it haphazardly. He's not just saying we're going to take this little by little. He's looking at the big picture, the long run, and every step that he takes. And it's interesting watching him do this, because Operation Sindoor was such a success, and I think they're doing Operation Kessler. Is it right now? I forget. But they're literally going in, and they're getting the terrorists now, even the ones that they didn't. I'm sure they missed a few, but they're actually going in there and getting it, and it's not making public news right now because they don't want to display it, but they're in there. And when we see Modi coming out and saying, okay, we're putting a halt to Operation Sindoor, it's because they're doing a new operation, first of all. And secondly, I think that when Modi does things, he just doesn't just go, boom, all in, kind of like Israel has done to Palestine, where the world will be split 50-50 on this. He does it in a way where he's going to be split 90-10, or where he's going to have the majority of the people in the popularity with him, so that the world stays on India's side on this. And the way he's doing it right now, I just think it's masterful, honestly.
So because if we see the Israeli action in Hamas, and the reason that led to the Israeli action, and similarly we saw the similar attack. I mean, similar attack that was inflicted on Indian soil by these Pakistani terrorists. That means people were having fun and frolic, exactly the same thing in Israel. People were having dance and party and all that, and all of a sudden these people, they come from all over and start shooting people wantonly. Do you think people that Pakistan is drawing a lesson, or drawing some sort of an inspiration from the Hamas-based actions, and there is uncanny similarity?
It's a very dangerous, a dangerous moment that we saw with Israel. We saw, and it happened in such a mass. It was much bigger, of course, but you're right. It's the same picture of what happened in Pahalgam. But what we saw in Pahalgam, when we see four terrorists that are able to draw as much attention as they did, four people with guns going onto the soil in Kashmir, in Pahalgam, and literally bringing out a conversation of nuclear war. This was four people, and this was the exposure, the power behind terrorism right now. And when we see these things happen, when four people can cause such a nation, two nations, to literally go at it. We saw with 9/11 that one time where the bombs hit and or the planes hit, and America did whatever they wanted to. We threw bombs whenever, wherever, it didn't matter. We were doing it because we got attacked by terrorists. Then we saw there's been terrorists attacked with the trains in India when their train got blown up, right? And they did, after that, they did whatever they wanted to because they were attacked by terrorists. Then we see the Hamas. Israel gets hit, and now they do whatever they wanted to. It's like a free joint. Then India. Modi could have did whatever he wanted to. He had the right. They reserved that right once you were attacked by terrorists. But it just goes to show you how big of a weapon that this is. Not just that it's terrorists in Pakistan, but that it was used. And now Pakistan went out and they got what they wanted with the IMF, which, even though it's crumbs and it's probably not even going to fix their air bases, who knows? But it really, it was what, 1.7 billion, and they were already going to get 7, so that was already going towards to Pakistan anyway. So they got a little bit of the crumbs that their master's hands they lick for the sake of the dirty pudding. They might choose to toss them. I don't know, but they didn't really get a whole. It's not a whole lot. But to get them to quiet down, it was nice. But to use terrorism in such a way that it's a very dangerous what we saw is very dangerous. If any country can do this when they want to.
The one question I've like, Pakistan is harping about this evidence thing, that India did not give evidence; it simply launched attack, and within hours of the attack, or in their terms, within minutes of the attack, India blamed us. Rest, I think Modi took the time. But do you think a similarity that Palestine has created Hamas, and they say that we are different from the Palestinian government, Hamas is different, Palestinian government is different, and same thing is being done by the Pakistanis, where they have created these elements within their security structure. They call them non-state actors, and then they unleash them against India. And when India try to take action against them, they again, start hopping around the fact that, oh, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? So do you think that that this is the commonality between all the Islamic jihad that the government's being sponsored, or government is sponsoring?
Yeah, I think there is. It's not hard to see. We don't get evidence. Terrorists, they don't provide evidence. It just, you're not going to find it. When we got the 9/11 thing, where was the evidence? It was all blown up. It was in rubbles. They couldn't even find the shrapnel on a plane that hit the Pentagon. They couldn't. What evidence is right? Well, if we can't rely on evidence, we've got CIA, we've got intelligence, and India's got the intelligence, and people know that. India's got probably just as good of intelligence as the United States does, believe it or not, and maybe even better. But if India says that they did something behind the scenes, we're not going to see it on the news, but behind the scenes, I'm sure they showed some sort of evidence of what's going on. And not only that, but India hasn't attacked Pakistan in a long time. And when you see a terrorist attack against India's soil, and the way Modi did it, Modi's not a warmonger. People can see that from the look of him. He's not a George Bush. He's far from it. He's got a very spiritual and very mortal and moral aspect to him. So the evidence really is behind who's leading the country and which way are you going. And then when we see the evidence of the army chiefs in Pakistan as compared to the leaders in India, who's running the show here, we really don't have to look very far for who's in the right and who's in the wrong.
How do you see? There's also, if I may call it, conspiracy theory, for the lack of words or the phrase. Some people say that, it may be the Chinese, what you call, calling the shot behind the door, behind the curtain, because and they wanted the Chinese interest to be protected, and India shown to be a terrorist-prone country, so that international investment would not be coming their way, and that's why they simply winked to their slaves in Pakistan to unleash these monsters. Or do you think it's a conspiracy theory?
I think well, when you look at China, you realize everybody knows that China wants a piece of land here. They've been wanting some land over there for a long time. But when we talk about conspiracy theories a lot in a negative way, well, conspiracies, there are a lot of conspiracies are going on, and conspiracies happen. We got to admit that there are conspiracies going on, and many of them are coming from China. A lot of conspiracies come out of China. A lot of them come from the United States. That's how diplomacy usually works. And then when we got to think about a theory here, theories are good. We got to have theories. Scientists have theories. Doctors have theories. Without theories, we don't get nowhere, because we got to find the pieces of the truth. So when we get a conspiracy theory, I like the idea of conspiracy theories. I really do. And a lot of them have turned out to be true. Every theory that science puts out, that it needs to, any kind of invention or anything that is real has to have theories behind it. But conspiracy theory that China was involved in Palagam, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I don't know. I personally don't think so. I feel like Pakistan needed attention.
Yes.
They needed this for their economy. They needed this for political reasons, for just because when you don't have nothing to give, they do. The only thing they have to give is their weapons, is their voice that we've got nukes and we've got a big army. That's what they got. Everything else in their land is suffering. So if they've got this to offer, they can put it out there and expose the world that, hey, we're a strong military and we've got this, which I don't think played really big into their favor. With India going in and tearing down the house like they did, I don't think it really played to their favor like they wanted it, even though they did get enough to hold them by for a little bit longer. I'm not sure how much longer that is going to be, though. That's what concerns me.
Another question is that Pakistan, in a way, because if we look at the possibility of a success for Pakistan, is that they somehow got the Kashmir internationalized
Mhm.
and again hyphenated the India-Pakistan relationship in the Western media. That means now media would always compare India from Pakistani perspective, and wherever India goes, there is a Pakistan angle to it. Whereas India, over the period of time, have worked hard to shrug off this unfortunate comparison or hyphenation between India and Pakistan, and they have convinced the world over a period of time that we are two different entities, and therefore this need not be seen from the same prism of glasses. How do you see that this theory that Pakistan succeeded in internationalizing the Kashmir issue by getting the Western media or Western audiences attention to it, and then how did the West look into the or perceive the conflict between India and Pakistan vis-a-vis Kashmir?
The first one, as far as how the West perceived it, I'll go with that one later. But the first question is about the land. How did this play off for Pakistan? I don't. When we look at this in the big picture, in the big scope, we see India is the largest democracy in the world, 1.4 billion. We know that. We know that it's bigger than us, and that's such a proof that this system works. America wants democracy in the world. We want to prove that this system works. Pakistan's not the best at that. So when it comes to the land of Kashmir, the West would. I don't think that this panned out very well for Pakistan at all, because the West does not want to see. We understand what Pakistan is, and a lot of people associate Pakistan with terrorism. We don't want to see terrorism take Kashmir. Kashmir is, first of all, if we go back to the books, and I believe that it's India's anyway, but I think the West is wanting to see this Modi and a democracy like India take this Kashmir. We need this Kashmir for democracy, for the world, and for the votes, for the people to be able to choose who is on their land, who does what. I mean, just for the people's choice, for the democracy. So with that, I think Pakistan is being shown a lot of decoys. Pakistan is being shown a lot of not real true friendship with people, but they're pretending to be Pakistan's friend so that they don't go off the wall or do anything stupid. And I see that with the West playing that game of diplomacy with that. And the other question was what?
Another question was that the de-hyphenation of relationship, whether they have success they've succeeded in internationalizing the Indo-Pak Kashmir issue. Do you think
I,
that the West think that Kashmir, because India says it's a bilateral issue between India and Pakistan, and the third party intervention is unacceptable to us. That's our position from the day one after
Mhm.
we signed the Shimla agreement. So how do you see that the world have started taking interest in Kashmir?
I think the West is taking interest in Kashmir for a few reasons, and for one, it's a very strategical spot for military bases and things like that to be, but we do understand India's view on this, and Modi has told President Trump more than once, stay out of it. I'm going to handle it. And President Trump is backing off, saying, okay, we're going to stay out of it. Let us know if you need help. But then again, he goes over to Pakistan and says, hey, what can we do here? You know, he's playing both sides of the table here. But as far as the West seeing Pakistan or India get Kashmir, India, we're praying to God that there's, first of all, peace with whatever happens. We just want to see peace in that region. But peace really has never been one of Pakistan's strong points. Peace has always been India's strong point from the moment they were, absorbed into the earth. They've been one of the most peaceful nations in the world. So so we would much rather see India over Pakistan take Kashmir. Who wouldn't? I mean, if you wouldn't, you're just I don't know who wouldn't, unless you live in Pakistan. Maybe then, of course, maybe you want Kashmir.
So, do you think that all these breakaway parts of India, like Pakistan and Bangladesh, do you see any possibility of democracy after they have embraced Islam in a way that it has created a doctrinal problem for them, and even from the Arabic point of view? Because we don't see democracy in any country of Arabia,
Yeah.
which is basically done on the basis of Quran and Sunnah. And then Pakistan is trying to pull a charade as far as the democracy is going, where everyone knows it doesn't have democracy. So, what do you think that what is the future of Pakistan? The radical Islamic country pumping out terrorists for the world, or it's going to take a lesson or two and then bend its way, take a course correction, and come back to its motherland, which is India?
I I, uh, I see Pakistan not. I do see him becoming more and more of an Islamic state, and that's like if the people want that, if the majority wants it, I don't know if they're going to vote on it or whatever. But when we see that happen, of course, we've seen that system work in a few regions around the world. We've seen, like I believe even Qatar is an Islamic state, and Trump was just over there, in flaunting the goodness of Qatar, which I believe they're much more peaceful, and I don't believe they produce terrorists, and it is pretty much an Islamic state. But Pakistan is on a different level of Islamic State, which I don't agree with, and it's not democratic at all. So, so as far as the West is wanting, Pakistan to become a democracy, and we don't think that that's going to happen. As far as we think somebody's fudging their numbers over there, and they're putting the wrong people in charge. But I don't think that, we don't think that an Islamic State is right for the people, because there's no democracy in Islamic states. It's all you're Islam or you're dead, or it's a very violent place to be. It's a very dangerous place for Christians or Hindus or Sikhs. It's a very or
Or
heathens
any human
or
being for that matter. It's a dangerous place.
humans, and that's where I think that their problem lies, because it's such a dangerous place for human beings that, with the civil rights and everything that happens with the IMF being really big on civil rights right now, we're seeing them not want to give Pakistan any more money. So when they're having to beg for loans, and this is a part of it, because they're so extreme Islam, when they're begging for loans, there's no security in that. In When you look at the percentage of the GDP, and everybody knows that an IMF loan is good for the economy of the country. It's proven it, and that's how countries build with these things. But when you're not getting that anymore, you're really going to have to make a choice whether you're going to choose the Islamic State, because theirs isn't working. They don't have the oil. They don't have the resources that most of these better off Islamic states that are working well have. They're poor. They're down in the dumps. So I see right now, if anything, Kashmir, India is going to move further into Kashmir, because they're pumping and they're going to show that they're solid with the economy, and they can offer more to that region than Pakistan can. And with the Islamic State, the IMF and the World Bank, even BlackRock, may not touch them. They don't really want to touch them unless somebody else gives them, hey, yeah, they're okay, you can deal with them. So I think that they're losing on every ground here, and majorly, big reason of that is because of the extreme Islamic State that they're trying to force on people.
Yeah, and because I will show you a video in a jiffy, but I should put this because, see, as an Indian, we had India carved out thousands and thousands years ago, and Kashmir is a breakaway part of India because of Islamization of the people. Pakistan is not a creation; it's a division of India, right?
Yes.
Like Germany was divided into East Germany and West Germany and all. So the people of India who embraced Islam, they say that we want our own homeland and we don't want to live with our ancient cultural identity. We want to create our Islamic identity, and in that obsession, they went on to obliterate their ancient identity and then replace it with their warped understanding of Islamic principles and doctrine, and that's the havoc that we are facing in the form of terrorism. So our case is that Kashmir was India before Pakistan was even
Right.
even took birth, or even we were colonized. But I'll show you a video, because you said that the Islamization of Pakistan is not dangerous not only for India but for the world. Because today I was watching a show from a very famous YouTuber in India, and he compiled a video, and I should give credit to Sham Sharma ji. He compiled a video of Pakistani big celebrities, of their vision of the world that they want to see. And this is
Mm.
something very interesting. So I'm presenting it's like a 30-40 second video, and then I'll take your comment on that.
Okay.
ईद अनवर कह रहा है कि सारे 6 के 6 बिलियन जो नॉन मुस्लिम्स हैं वो जहन्नम की आग में जलेंगे, उनको कन्वर्ट करना ही पड़ेगा इस्लाम में।
बताओ मेरे प्यारो, 6 अरब लोग गैर मुस्लिम हैं, इनको जहन्नुम की आग से बचाने के लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? यहाँ तो अगर नमाज पढ़ दी ना पूरी, पकड़ हो जाएगी अल्लाह की तरफ से।
So this guy sitting on the pedestal, is or elevated chair. Is basically a very famous cricketer in Pakistan. His name is Saeed Anwar. He's saying that there are 6 billion non-Muslims in the world, and they are going to be burned in hellfire and all that. And it is our duty to convert them. And if we don't, then we are doing some sort of a disservice to Islam, and we are not good people. And I don't know what. So I'm going to hell. You are going to hell. Every one of us is hellbound. And they have the duty. I don't know who gave them the duty, unfortunately, but they have acquiesced this duty to themselves, and then they are calling everyone in their nationhood to go and convert people, because all of us are on the wrong path, and this gets even more interesting.
तोड़ो नमाज, एक बच्चे को बचाओ। 6 अरब लोग जहन्नुम की आग में रोजाना 2 लाख जा रहे हैं, मुसलमान को कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ रहा।
Every day 2 lakh people are going in hell, and Muslims are not getting bothered with that. So instead of namaz, you should start converting more people. That's your priority.
बताओ हम बच जाएंगे?
भैंस का अंडा इंजमाम उल हक सारे हिंदुओं को इस्लाम में कन्वर्ट करना चाहता है।
भाई आप सारों से गुजारिश ये है कि भाई एक तो इज्तिमा में ले, इसमें किस चीज़ की फिक्र है कि भाई सारी दुनिया के इंसानों में किस तरह ये दीन फैल जाए।
So this guy is saying that it is our moral duty to ensure that our deen, which is Islam, should get spread across the humanity somehow and some way, and all means for that reason, for that purpose, is of course a justified means. So this obsession, not keeping religion to yourselves, the way you understand it, don't you think this obsession is the real reason that has panned out in the form of Pakistan?
Yeah, I think that right there is the that there's the extreme Islam, right? The extreme Muslims. But I think that's the problem we face is
You call them extreme. They are like big celebrities, rich people, having played cricket all their lives and have seen the various part of the world. They're not the people who are simply they stayed put in their country. They couldn't see the world. They are very well traveled, well mannered, exposed to West and all. Imran Khan was a very Western man, but then at the end of the day, they all think alike.
Yeah, they all that the problem is there's a I'd say the minimal amount of very extreme. Then you but the problem with that is they're leading all of the non-extremists into this. So when you're non-extreme Muslim, you're down here, but after you're and the few that are extreme like that, these others are climbing the ladder, and so you never stay simply just a non-extreme Muslim, or if you do, they don't like that. They want you up there. They want you to basically kill, if you have to, anybody that's trying to convert somebody away from Islam. I watched the same thing on Candace Owens. She had something here, had a gentleman like there's up there speaking like that. And he was mentioning how it is the Islam's duty to destroy those that are converting Muslims to Christianity or to Hinduism or anything of the sort. But it's their duty to kill them because they're if they convert somebody away from Muslim, those people are going to go to hell. So they're trying to make the choice for everybody on going to hell or not. Whether I don't think that killing people is the way to enter through the pearly gates, because thou shalt not kill is one of the things that are on my list. But I do believe that this is what we're seeing here. It's getting more and more amplified, I think, by Pakistan. Pakistan's huge on this. I know, and that's why I think Pakistan's losing in this battle all across the world, in with the IMF and against India and all these things, because the good Lord is not on their side. So I do think that there's a very big problem with this. And I know that in America, when we're hearing things like this, they're trying to open up Sharia law cities in the United States. And they've just been shut down, 2 of them in Texas. And they were doing it under the table, where it's very secretive. So there's something bigger going on in the world with what that man said. And it's gentlemen like that, like those people we just heard, that are leading the charge. And I think that it needs to be eradicated. It has to be a no tolerance. I remember the day where terrorism was, there's no tolerance. Terrorists, you do not negotiate with terrorists. That used to be the saying. We don't negotiate with terrorists. Well, now it seems like the world is trying to negotiate with them. And there is no negotiation with them. There can't be, because this is exactly what you showed me is, it's fact. It's true. It's happening, and it needs to be eradicated quickly. And I think that India is leading the charge in that. And how I don't understand how the rest of the world is just not, maybe Modi doesn't want us to, but is not just jumping in and saying, okay, everybody, if we can take care of this, if we all jump in together, and Russia, America, everybody, France, everybody who wants to get rid of terrorism, we need to just take it out. Take it out.
Yeah, we could do it, and we had done it. The thing is that the West draws, and that's one of our bones with the West, is that, for example, they see the India and Pakistan and the hyphenation concept we're talking about. That Pakistan is a perpetrator of terrorism. You cannot compare it with India by saying that, oh, both needs to sit and talk. No, you can't talk with terrorism. That's what exactly we are saying. You can't hyphenate with the perpetrators of terrorism to those, or with those who are basically the victim of terrorism. We can't sit and talk with you cannot make a rape victim sit and talk with a rapist. No, that's not how it works. Just because you say that, oh, you have to have a peace. No, we need to take them by horn. We need to confront them, and then put them to task. So this is our bone with the West, that perhaps they are not ready to understand, and they keep on hyphenating the perpetrator and victim, which needs to be shunned by the Western audiences. Perhaps they don't understand, and that's why we are trying to make it simpler for them, that you don't compare perpetrator and victim the same thing. Okay, last thing I would like to do, that the NATO tried to bring democracy in Afghanistan, but they failed miserably. And trust me, the people of Afghanistan more or less like us. Although I love people of Afghanistan, I must say that they're nice people. But then when it comes to Islam, the Indian subcontinent version of Islam, it is inimical to the idea of democracy, no matter what you do. And even if you bring your NATO forces on their soil to you, and then give them constitution, give them the election, 2 times election, they still won't accept it. They want to go the Sharia way. So what do you think is the way out?
Well, the way out is to quit letting him in. Honestly, the way out to keep a virus out is to not let it in the first place, and to contain it before it gets there. But which I know, and we all see it happening around the world, where the terrorists aren't just in Kashmir or Pakistan now, but the majority, we know where their hubs are. We know where the majority of them are. But with Afghanistan, I wasn't understanding when I was reading some of the news that India or Afghanistan is with India, saying, yeah, we want to defeat terrorism with you, which I was kind of like, well, really? Since when? Since when have you started this? Since when have you started thinking that way? I thought maybe they took a pill and all of a sudden they can, hey, we're not going to, support Islamists again, this belief again. But I wouldn't personally believe them I just wouldn't take their word for it. But I don't think that India should be. It's America does it too. They play games with the devil and they end up letting the devil in, and the devil ends up winning, or at least causing a lot of havoc. Instead of letting the devil in, I think the devil just needs to, you know, get taken out. And I'm not trying to say that towards any particular nation or country, but that belief system it's got problems at the root, and the only way to get rid of the root is to get rid of or not let it in, and let those seeds come and be planted all over India, because seed time and harvest, it grows through time, and you end up getting your harvest that you don't want.
What last question, speak and see. Uh, what do you think would be good for the world and India, India in particular, and world in general? Should we envisage possibility of divided Pakistan into four different provinces? Because I know people of Baluchistan are very nice people. They are not that extremist when it comes to religion. They are very nice. They are very secular. And similarly, Pastunkwa, there are people who are very progressive. They are also, I mean, some of them are very, very radical, but some of them are equally very progressive and inclusive. So, what do you think? A fragmented Pakistan, a divided Pakistan in its nation state form, that every nation in Pakistan should be given a statehood, and that's good for the world, or a united Pakistan is a good idea.
Well, if we were to see divided Pakistan, we would probably see a bunch more Kashmirs, a bunch more places where there's borders going to be crossed by somebody or something, and we see a lot more fighting inwards in their land. I don't think they could get along that way if you just put, if you segregated the beliefs in Pakistan, because I mean, there's a pretty big buffer zone with Kashmir. It's pretty large. But once you take it and you shrink it into four pieces, if you were to do that in Pakistan, I don't see it being a long-term solution. I think there would be I personally just think there would be a lot of problems. And you can't just ask one person to move out of where they've been their whole life, but I see that there would be a lot of fighting in Pakistan, and it would turn into probably
I don't mean to move people out. That in the division of India was in the name of Islam. But if you see the map of Pakistan, it's the four states which
mhm,
constitute the federal unit of Pakistan: Sindh, Pakhtunkhwa, Punjab, and Balochistan. Balochistan
okay,
itself is
okay,
around 45% of the landmass. And Baloch people are very secular, they're nice people, and they have been fighting for the independence for ages.
okay,
So if we take that 40%, 45% of the land mass out, and they're basically yearning for it. A lot of them are in India. They request the government of India to do what they have done to the Bengalis in 1971 by dividing the Pakistan. And then that basically was weakening the strength of Pakistan. Otherwise, India would have been, sandwiched between East Pakistan and West Pakistan, and both ways the extremist Islam would have created a havoc on us. So, what do you think? That's what I'm trying to say. That if we
okay,
divide us on the basis of nations, right?
okay.
As is a nation, it gets away. Baluch are anyways looking for. So, what's your take on that?
If it's a democracy, they can do it. If it's a
Yes, it would be a
democracy,
democracy. Yes, yes.
then they should be allowed to do it. Then there should, if they're being stopped from doing it, then that's a big problem. That shows you that it's not a democracy. That
See
shows you
what's
that
happening right now. I'm sorry, I'm interjecting.
no
So
good.
Pakistan is trying to hold together these ancient identities which were created in India with 2,000 years of what you call pluralism.
Hmm.
They want to kill these plural ideas. Like if you are Sindhi, if you're Baloch, if you are Pashtun, no, you shouldn't be any of them. Your only identity is to have Islamic identity. All other identities needs to be crushed, need to be subservient to the Islamic identity. So Islam as a glue is not able to keep them together, right?
Right.
And that's why they are pumping in more extreme form of Islam in their paranoia to keep the country united, and that basically have become counterproductive. So I know Baloch are fighting for independence. We should support them. That 45% land mass goes. So they're when they have little or less resources to be what they are right now, perhaps they will be more sane in their dealing with the world or dealing with Islam. What do you think?
Do they have governors in Baluch?
Yes, their constitution. They have since independence. They have what do you call popped three constitutions because one after another the constitutions were failing, right?
Okay.
So, for example, 1947. Let me explain it. 1947, India was divided.
Yeah.
India got
Yep.
independence. When the India got independence, then
Yep.
those part of the India which were Muslim majority were basically split out of the Indian landmass.
Mhm.
So India was divided. The Punjab was divided into East Punjab and West Punjab. West Punjab became Pakistan. Bangladesh was divided into East Bengal and West Bengal. The East Bengal became Pakistan. So now what's happened that they had their first constitution, if I'm not mistaken, in 1954 or 56,
53, wasn't it? No?
maybe 53.
Okay.
So their first constitution, until the constitution came in, they were basically run by the Government of India Act 1935 and Indian Independence Act 1947. These two laws were basically giving their legal structure the legitimacy to be ruled. So basically, even till 1953, if I take your year to be the year of their first constitution, they were basically India because they were run by the Government of India Act. Nevertheless, having said that, so after that, they simply realized that federalism, that means the plural identity, is inimical or is basically counterproductive to the Islamic idea of the Pakistan, and therefore these nations must die. So they again created a new constitution where they say that all these federal division are basically annulled or cancelled or destroyed, and now we will have a unitary system of government with the Pakistani. All other identities will be obliterated. Only Pakistani Islam. Pakistan means La ilaha illallah. That's how they define it. So they said only the Muslim identity shall remain. All other identities shall be crushed or at least discouraged. So they created another constitution that also failed, and now the current constitution or the third constitution was after their division when India had to intervene in the humanitarian. It was an humanitarian intervention because of the large scale and a very severe human rights violation of the Pakistani forces in the East Bengal or the East Pakistan, which forced India to simply step in and preserve the human rights of the people of the West Bengal, East Bengal. So that's what the idea is, that if their resources are drawn out, if the West stops giving them military resources, financial resources, Pakistan's obsession with Islam would perhaps be is weakened, because then they will go back to their school books where they are teaching hatred for Hindus, hatred for Christians, and hatred for every other community would simply taken out, and then we can start afresh by making those minds which are more evolved, progressive, inclusive, and sees religion as a mere personal matter between him and God, and not the communal matter that he has a duty to create everyone. This thing. So, what do you think of that? That Pakistan should be divided and every nation should be given an independent state? Perhaps it would be better to have a nation state.
It sounds like it would be. It sounds like that's really not even a question. I mean, if you just describe to me how that exactly is working, or mostly, and 90% of it's there, then you have no choice. I mean, if you're going to do something, if we're for the will of the people, it's the will of the people. And it sounds like to me that if you want to be Muslim, you can. It sounds like they want to do a Sharia state that people don't want. And that's a very, very dangerous, the most dangerous laws that you could put into effect over people that don't want it. This is talking that they will kill you. These are laws that will kill you, Sharia. In these Islams, you can, to be put under such a burden. I don't think there's anything more dangerous than that becoming law over the whole land of Pakistan. If you can divide it and save the people, then there's no choice for the world to jump in.
I'll tell you something interesting. Basically, the division of Pakistan would be union of ancient identities. Pakistan is a forceful idea of bringing to people together in under the umbrella of Islam.
Mm,
And in order to be Islamic, you need to convert. And I don't understand conversion. How can you convert people's ancient identity, cultures, their color, their language? You can't convert all these things. So if the idea of Pakistan fails, that Islam can bring people together who are not culturally associated with it in the name of Islam, that's basically is again uh, giving boost to the concept of nation states, that only those nations who can who are similar to each other can stay in as a one political unit, or stay together as a one political unit. So when you are talking about dismantling Pakistan, you're not talking about dismantling a viable state. What you are talking about is dismantling the idea that Islam could come in its fold, people of different manifestation, of different languages, different culture, different food, and different thought process. And then Islam can take over all that and provide a glue for them to stay together, which India has provided to its own people for thousands of years by creating such a diverse nation
mhm.
over a period of, let's say, thousands of years, as I understand and we understand.
Yep.
So how do you think that should the West be at least made aware of this issue, that we are not talking about dismantling a viable state or a vibrant state, but we are talking about the dismantling of an idea which is inimical or hazardous to human safety.
I think if it was divided into states, and Pakistan did have their Islam, state, and the other, what is it, Buchapel, they had their own. What we would have, we've seen this happen before in history. We've seen the exact same thing, only on the bigger scale, larger scale. Because what you're explaining to me sounds more like a Holocaust. Hitler did that. Hitler said, "You're going to be this way, or we're going to take you and we're going to demolish you, and we're just going to have this one belief and these one people walking the planet." And so, if you believe that about Islam, that's what you have, is you're trying to force these people. But I believe, yeah, then the world needs to get involved in more than just a diplomatic way. I think that if that's the case over there, and they're talking about just you have to think this way or die, then we're looking at another you know Germany. We're looking at Nazis only wearing a different kind of suit. So I think that the world has got to wake up to this and get involved with it, because the longer we wait on something like this, then the more people that are going to get hurt. It needs to be taken care of, and taken care of quickly.
And you know that the biggest Holocaust on the face of earth is the Islamic Holocaust against the Hindus. It's just that not being taught or not being mentioned. Because if you read a book by Will Durant, I hope you know him. Will Durant is a very famous scholar and historian. He has written many books. For example, there's a very famous book of the story of philosophy. Wonderful
Hmm.
book by Durant, the story of philosophy. Similarly, there was another book that he wrote was Story of Civilization. In his book on the story of civilization, he wrote that the bloodiest conquest on the face of earth ever, and in terms of human lives lost and destruction and mayhem, rape and pillage, it's Islamic conquest of India.
Hmm.
This somehow has gone unnoticed, maybe because the communists in India simply whitewashed it, and perhaps we will assemble together some other time to discuss it. But
Does
you're,
that represent what we're seeing in Pakistan right now?
I'm sorry, come again?
Does that book, does it represent kind of what's going on in Pakistan right now? Is what happened back then, or
Yeah, now, since there are no more Hindus left, so they are fighting because all the Hindus were converted, and they have a very pitiful life inside
hmm.
Pakistan. It's not even a human life; it's a subhuman life. But now the Islam is, because they are not able to understand Islam. Now they are saying that we have to go outside. They have created a country. Now they're not satisfied with that. As I made you hear, they are basically trying to go outside Pakistan to create more Pakistans. That's
Right.
their vision. That
Right.
we have to create, you have created one Pakistan out of India, and we know the results. And then you have audacity to say that you have to go to Western civilization, make them Pakistan, you have to go to America, convert them into Pakistan. It's ridiculous.
It's sick.
Kids and these American civilization or Western civilization, they have contributed so much to the humanity. Every civilization, barring this barbaric civilization, have contributed to the humanity. West have contributed, America has contributed. America has contributed some evil, but some very, very, very good things too, that the
Yeah.
world should be grateful to America. We are talking to each other, it's because of the internet, and that credit goes to the
Yeah.
Western civilization and the Americans, and we should be. Where the credit is due, one should not shy away from giving it.
Right
So
on.
that's what I'm saying, that the idea of more Pakistan, would you welcome that West should convert into Pakistan?
Really?
That's their idea, is because you're going to go to hell anyways, and
No,
they are the one who are saviors.
I don't think so, man. I doubt that's going to happen. I'm not
I, I don't doubt.
I
I wish so. It doesn't happen.
I don't like that the all world being a Pakistan, because Pakistan's not working as is right now, first of all. And man, I'd rather see the world like nah, I'm good.
I believe in the world is good. The world is
Yeah.
very, very good without Pakistan. And that's the idea. See, Pakistan is not a geographical idea. Pakistan is an Indian Muslims universal idea to create more Pakistan, because Pakistan is not. How do they define Pakistan? Is it Pakistan ka matlab kya? That means, what does Pakistan mean? This is Pakistan means La ilaha illallah. So they are duty bound to ever expand the territory of Pakistan to the different civilization, and then create more and more and more Pakistan, because this country's name is not based on a geographical identity like America is. You know where is America? Germany is in Germany. You know where is Germany?
Yeah.
Pakistan can be anywhere, because it's a ideological concept and not a geographical concept, and that's the irony. So when another country falls to Islam, welcome to Pakistan.
Yuck. I don't like that idea.
Yeah, no one does.
I don't think the world's gonna. I don't think we're gonna do that.
Yeah, and I think this idea is bound to fail, because
Yes.
humanity is not looking forward to it. And then we have gotten up together to simply tell people that pluralism, acceptance, embrace, cultural diversity, lingual diversity is the future of humanity, and we want to enjoy all of them as one.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%.
So shake on that.
Shake on that.
Thank you, Speak and See. And once again, we will. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for sparing your time,
got it.
and a very warm goodbye from St. Petersburg, Russia. And I hope to assemble once again for more discussion and talk on these juicy matters.
You got it, brother.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
lot, brother. Have a good one.
You and